Well, welcome back, folks. Today we're going to do a little bit of a controversial Paydirt bag that I've seen, but I saw a sale on it on Amazon, so I picked it up and see what we can pick up on it. This one is the Pan More Gold Paydirt. It's a 2-pound bag. We shall see what we can pull out of it. Alright, so to start with, we're going to classify this guy down to kitchen strainer size. And then we're going to separate out what we can of the black sands with the neodymium magnet. Let's see what that looks like. Now, opening these bags, you can see that it has these little wings down below. The material does get stuck in there, so we'll probably just tear this bag all together and see if we can get all that material out. But first, we'll do about half the bag into the kitchen strainer here. Well, we don't leave those. Pretty dry, dusty material. Not sure if the dust will show up on the camera or not, but dust is flying all over the room. I'm sure the wife will love that. And the other half. Now there is no guaranteed gold amount in here. It does just say gold guaranteed, but no set amount, which is typically a bad sign. But we'll see what that comes to be. So now you can see down in those corners there is some dusty material down in them corners. So let's try to tear that open. You need some scissors. That stuff's pretty heavy material. So the good news about the bag, it's a very sturdy bag. When you order this, it's probably not going to break on you. So there's that. There we go. You can see that material down in the bottom there. That may or may not contain anything. We want to make sure we get every chance to capture anything that might be in here. Clean everything out we can. Now we're going to run through the neodymium magnet, see what we can pull out of this.
So he's going to let me do this. See what we get. A whole lot of magnets.
So something she didn't do on this was see how much dirt came back with these blacks in here. So typically what you'll want to do is when you grab everything, I'm just going to toss it back in. You'll want to take that, release it back into the dirt so that you can grab just the black sand. See how much less stuff's on there? You can do that a couple times, and that way it'll filter everything down to just black sands. You're not picking up as much dirt. Now there isn't a lot of black sands in this material, which I don't know what that's going to return for us in the return, but we're going to find out. Now I'll bring the heavies over and try them with the magnet. See if we find any clickers. A couple clickers in there. Not a whole lot, but a couple. So that's all we had for black sands in there. Not a whole lot. We'll pan those out too, but see what we get. Okay, and now because we both don't have any faith in our panning skills, and this is 2 pounds of material, and I don't want to take all the time to run through all this, we are going to do all of this through our cleanup buddy. I've seen that on plenty of videos. It works quite well, and it's a better panner than I am. So we're going to go through, and we do have to wet our material before we run through that. That just helps that run through the sluice a heck of a lot better. So we'll wet our fines, and we'll wet our courses. So plus and minus kitchen strainer. We're going to run both these through, see what we come up with. We'll also run the heavies through just for yucks, but may just do those in a pan. I don't know, we'll see.
Alright, so just as a reminder on this, you want to go through and get all the bubbles out of the mat in here. I take an old school Ninja Turtle shaving brush, and that's what I use. Alrighty, well we're going to start with the heavies first that you wetted earlier. And you just scoop it up. Drop it in.
So something we haven't really talked about since we did our original review on this cleanup buddy is that this does have a fill line down here. However, we have found about a 1/2 inch over the fill line is the more appropriate set to run on this, as if you don't go just about a 1/2 over, this thing tends to bubble up on you and you don't get as clean a flow. So something to keep in mind if anybody else ends up running the cleanup buddy. There's fill line, go a little bit above. And here she is finishing up plus kitchen strainer grain. And we just used squirt to squirt these guys down. There is some like leafy material in this, and it does have kind of a swampy smell. So I think there's a good chance that this did indeed come out of a creek, river, something of that nature. Now, does it actually have gold in it? We're gonna find out. All right, so after we've finished a run, now this one was the plus kitchen strainer, so very unlikely this is actually going to have gold in it, but we'll check it all anyways. Set your smaller pan down below the cleanup buddy and get some water in it. Then we lift this guy up, take the mat out, and try to run the mat directly into the smaller pan. Then clean what material was left in the cleanup buddy. Run that down best you can. More important on your last run to get that as clean as you can than the first run. And pull everything back out. Now that we have everything out, a little easier to work with, I usually just try to inspect the mat ahead of time, see if I see any larger items of gold to grab. Nothing in this one, as expected. Then carefully flip your mat over. Try not to lose any material. And then just pat it out into your packet. Cleans out pretty easily. And slide that guy right back into your sluice for the next set of run. Alright, now we can go ahead and pan our material. I usually take a little bit of this water out, so I'll do that real quick. We'll come back and we'll pan this down. Chances are there's nothing in this. Alright, so since that guy brings little material in there, we're just gonna throw back. We're not even gonna wash this stuff. So let's throw this back, see if we see any gold in here. And as expected, no gold in the plus kitchen strainer. So we'll move on to the minus kitchen strainer, see what we get. And redoing the bubbles again. Get a little closer so you can see how that works. Cleans out the bubbles on the tray. Then we can run our minus kitchen strainer. And here we go. can see that minus kitchen strainer adds a bit more material in because it doesn't wash off as easy as those larger rocks. A little closer here and you can see that run down. And you'll notice there's a swirl that happens inside of each of these little pockets. Now if that's not swirling, you need to do a clean out of your mat because it's not properly exchanging material. And that exchange of material is what captures your gold. So make sure those guys are swirling. Alright, so after pulling the mat on this second run, I don't see necessarily any hiding in the mat, but we can see one little speck of gold right there. One little speck of gold on the riffles. We'll dump this mat out and see what we can do. Not a lot of promise here for a lot of gold, and we'll try to see if we can't get this video posted as a review on Amazon and let others know what we thought. Anyhow, let's get this cleaned up, see what we got. Alright, here we go. Do this throwback together and see if we get more than that one flake that was in there. There's that one flake up on top. Now you can see that in the middle. Well, there's a couple extra flakes in there. I won't call it a lot of gold, and it's very flat gold. There is some more in there. Now I don't even think that's actually a weighable amount of gold, to be completely honest with you. But there you go. Here's what it provided on top of the smile. Certainly not getting what you paid for on there. See if I can't weigh it up, but I'm gonna say that won't weigh. Alright, well, I should have showed you snuffer and all that up, but I didn't, so too late now. Anyhow, let's dump our snuffer, see what gold we actually came up with. You can see it all together and see what it looks like. Now, when you dump your snuffer, do make sure you give it a good rinse because gold can stick inside there. I also take the tube and rinse the tube down too. And these little bottles are super handy, only a couple bucks on Amazon. So get this cleaned down, then we'll dry it out. I'll try to weigh it. I don't think this is gonna weigh though. Alright, there's everything we got in a nice little smile as best I could up on top there. Now we just take a paper towel, dry everything around it. And I usually just let it wait and air dry, so once that's air dried out, we'll get that into a little sticky pad and try and get it weighed for you. See what we come back with. Alright, so here we go, getting things prepped to weigh, and as you've seen in a few other videos, I throw a sticky note down, fold it up to make sure it catches the gold. Then I start by just tapping the gold down. Get down as much as I can, and then that stuff that's stuck in there, it's loose, I'll just take one of these long 5/6 inch toothpicks, loosen that up a bit, and tap that stuff down. And that gives you an okay little pile there at the bottom, makes it easy to dump it into the scale. Alrighty, so scale prepared, power on with the tray in there. That will basically automatically tar this guy, so you can tear it again if you so desire, but we're in grab. Now when I grab this, I like to throw the tray in the pan. carefully lift so that I have everything in there, and then dump into the tray. And that way, if for whatever reason any gold falls out, it just falls into the pan. It doesn't get lost into the abyss. So here's our gold we're going to look away. See what happens. Well, I was wrong. It did give a weight. It's still not a lot, but it gave a 0.044. So not terribly great, but we'll see what that comes back to look like and give a rough estimate of an ROI. So here's the quick note from Amazon. When I purchased this one, it was around $20 on sale, but roughly around $30 currently. It doesn't fully depict as to the brand set, and all of the pictures are very deceiving, as you can tell during what we just checked out. So anyhow, come over to our scrap gold calculator, put in our 0.04, I guess we can be extremely accurate and go 0.044 was the actual full. We'll give it its last little benefit of the doubt. Calculate our piece of gold, and just under $5. So for $30, getting $5, you're getting a 16-17% ROI. That's pretty sad. A lot of better Paydirts out there. So anyhow, I want to think different before looking at this one, and thanks for watching.